Good afternoon. Thank you for watching. It is appreciated as always. If you find this video helpful and instructive, feel free to give me a like and subscribe. It is appreciated. Cards on the table before we get any further. I am a Reform member, voter, and I'm also a member of Restore Britain. So it's important to caveat these things before we get into the video, which I'm going to get into now. First of all, Nigel Farage, Reform UK, have had a press conference today pretty much confirming everything I mentioned on the weekend regarding mass deportations. So we're going to get into this first of all. Nigel Farage has outlined 3 pieces of legislation he says he would implement if he were to become the Prime Minister in order to allow the UK to regain control of its borders. They are: the UK would permanently leave the ECHR, the European Court of Human Rights. A Reform government would repeal the Human Rights Act 1998, which basically enshrined much of the ECHR into UK law, and it would temporarily remove the UK from the 51 Refugee Convention for a period of 5 years, which would then allow the UK to legally carry out deportations. We've got a bit more meat on this now, which I'm going to bring up here. Let's have a look now. A 5-year emergency programme to identify, detain and deport 1 million plus illegal migrants living in Britain. 5 deportation flights a day, new deportation command, scrap the ECHR and act as lawyer vetoes, saving taxpayers $42 billion in a decade. Successive governments have delivered. Reform will deliver Britain's borders back under British control. That all sounds good. That all sounds great. Now, as a paid-up member of Reform UK currently, in my opinion, it doesn't go far enough, but it's a start. I've said this before, I'll say it and continue to say it. Reform is the only game in town, currently. And that all it is, if something else comes on the agenda, comes on the horizon that's politically viable, Advance UK being a example. Alright? We're going to get into some particulars now, which is interesting because by repealing the ECHR and leaving it, you do amend devolution, both in Stormont and Northern Ireland, and in the devolved nations of Scotland and Wales. For example, the Government of Wales Act 98, the Act gave limited powers to the National Assembly of Wales but did not have full ECHR entrenchment. However, the Government of Wales Act 2006 expanded the powers. Welsh ministers must not act incompatibly with the ECHR as per Section 81. Section 94, the Acts of the Welsh Assembly, now Senate Cymru, are not law if incompatible with the ECHR. In fact, like Scotland, the Welsh government and the Senate must comply with the ECHR. And then we have a similar thing in Scotland, which is Scotland Act 98, Section 29 2D. A provision of the Act of the Scottish Parliament is outside the legislative competence of the Parliament if compatible with the ECHR. A member of the Scottish Government cannot act in a way incompatible with the ECHR. So again, a similar effect. So this is the thing, you will have to amend the Devolution Acts, which is no mean feat, and they'll probably get kicked back in Scotland. However, we have one British sovereign parliament, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Farage and Reform have also confirmed they are going to be looking at the Good Friday Agreement because the ECHR is enshrined in the Good Friday Agreement. It's unfair on the British in Northern Ireland that they are treated as third-class citizens in the United Kingdom. It's not acceptable, and that needs to change, so hopefully that'll be done as well. Now, the biggest takeaway from the speech and the conference and the media questions is what I'm going to bring up in this next clip now, and then we'll get into some further information that's come out regarding Elon Musk, which is the basis of the thumbnail, so that'll be later in the video.
Harry Horton, ITV. Thank you very much. Harry Horton, ITV News. Nigel Farage, you've said that you can't be held responsible for everything that happens in the world, but if someone says that if you deport me, I'll be tortured, I'll face abuse. Surely there is some responsibility on you to stop that from happening.
Don't agree. And this is the problem with the legacy media, which is why they're dying out. The only responsibility of government is to keep its own people safe. I have no sympathy for anyone in the country, legally or illegally. If they're breaking our laws, they need to go. It's as simple as that. If somebody comes from Pakistan, for example, on a study visa and they claim asylum while they're in the UK, they're taking the piss. That shouldn't be allowed. And if somebody says they're going to face torture and persecution back in their home country, it's not really our problem, especially if these refugee types, the people that are taking the piss, if they come outside the European continent, it's really not our problem. Many of these people that come here legally and abuse our laws need to go. And all of the people that come over the English Channel have broken the law by breaking into the country. And yet this guy, his issue is that they may be tortured if they go back to whence they came. My priority is to keep the British people and our British women and children safe from invading, pillaging marauders that have no right to be here. Let's continue and see what he has to say, shall we?
And secondly, if I may, how far back does this go? Where do you draw the line? You say you're going to deport everyone who's arrived here illegally. What are the parameters for that?
Yeah, I mean, look, how far back you go with this is the difficulty, and I accept that. And the next question that Zia and I will get asked is, what about those that are here illegally and have got children? So, I'm not standing here telling you all of this is easy, all of this is straightforward. And we had, of course, with the Windrush row, we had a situation there where people who'd come 50, 60, in fact, nearly 70 years ago had faulty paperwork. So there is an exercise of common sense that has to come in here. But do we realistically think, Zia, we can deport 500,000-600,000 people in the lifetime of the first Parliament?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, so look, one of the key points to make here is if you look at the population who are illegally, and by the way, this is difficult because you're trying to count the uncountable almost by definition. You're talking north of 650,000 adults without children who are in this country illegally. And by the way, those are the ones the British people are most concerned about. They're the ones who, in some cases, are terrorising local communities, hanging around bus shelters. Let's start with deporting them. Let's get that done promptly and efficiently.
So that's the first clip. Now, from my point of view, all of this is great rhetoric and is good building blocks. With three to 4 years before the next general election, and the rhetoric will only harden as it gets closer to the next election. The occupation or the preoccupation of the liberal media with protecting illegal migrants, foreign criminals, many of which have been involved in attacks on our people, protecting their human rights above and beyond the integrity, security, and safety of this United Kingdom is breathtaking. No wonder they are going extinct. And this is what the liberal classes think is important. Not myself, not yourself, not anybody else who's yet to find my channel. We're irrelevant to them. Always remember that. This is what we're fighting against. This is the enemy. This is the blob. And then we look at this other clip, and it's a similar attack as the No Mark from ITV. This one's from Channel 4.
Paul McNamara, Channel 4.
Hi, Mr. Farage. There is a realistic possibility, if you go forward with this, there might be a case where someone arrives in the UK by a small boat, you send them back to the country from which they came, and they will be tortured or killed because of a decision that you've made. How does that sit with you?
Crimea River, I do not care. You break into our country, you don't get to stay. It's as simple as that. I have no sympathy for anybody that does this. This guy from Channel 4 is a no mark, he's a disgrace. His priority should be, will these mass deportations have an impact on the illegal migrants attacking our people? No, that's not his concern. His concern is protecting the minorities' human rights. This needs to change. This is why the woke media is dying out.
Well, the alternative, of course, is to do nothing. I mean, that's the very clear alternative, is we just do nothing. We just allow this problem to magnify and grow. We head to a point where, and I genuinely, I'm not, I don't want this to happen. I want our proposals to be accepted so that we can prevent civil disorder from happening. But that is the direction this country is headed in. And we cannot be responsible for all the sins that take place around the world.
That's right. At a certain point, you've got to weigh risk versus reward. What are we getting out of it? Nothing. We are getting rinsed. We are getting rinsed on a daily basis.
Just literally impossible. But we can recognise that the primary duty of a British government is to protect the integrity, the safety and security of its own people. And, that's why we have to do this. I mean, Zia said in his speech that nothing short of these measures will work. And I think we all genuinely believe that. If we allow any loopholes to remain open with this, it isn't going to happen. Is this a perfect world? Are these things all that we want to do? Well, we shouldn't have been put in this position. But we've been put in this position by Conservative and Labour governments. We have to do something tough. We have to do something radical. And this is a plan that will work.
So there we have it. The woke media have made their choice. The protection of foreign criminals, people that break into the country, people that have committed gross crimes against both the host nation and our people, their rights, their freedoms are more important than keeping you safe. That is, if you believe Channel 4's reporters, BBC's reporters, and ITV's reporters. There's certain people online, like one Mr. Elon Musk, that doesn't think that this speech goes far enough, and this conference and the measures placed by Nigel Farage doesn't go far enough. Let's just have a look now. And he's brought out this tweet about helping Rupert Lowe regarding the grooming gang scandal, and he wants to make a donation. He's also made rhetoric and he's made posts on X regarding this is not going to help Britain, this isn't going to save Britain. And Rupert Lowe agrees. Now, what I can appreciate what Elon's saying, and he's trying to shift that over to the window, and that is welcome. At the moment, it's kind of irrelevant that people are saying that Farage isn't going to fix everything, because there's no other viable game in town. And then on the opposite side, you've got people like the agitator India Willoughby, listening to Nigel Farage. He is a full-blown mid-century German, a slicker Nick Griffin. I cannot believe how the UK media has allowed this to happen. We are on the brink of something awful. The rhetoric and applause is horrifying. Reform should be a prescribed terrorist organisation. Really? Really? No, definitely not. My take on the points that Farage has brought up, it's all good. Nice red meat for the base. Doesn't go far enough. When they're talking about we need to deport 600,000, you need to add a zero on the back of that. It's at least 6 million in my view, maybe more. It's a good first step. What you need to remember is a lot of people in the mainstream don't realise how big the problem is. So when the headline gets around that says Nigel's going to deport 5 to 600,000 people, they're going to think that's amazing. There's a lot of people like me that think that it won't go far enough, but it's a start. Most people in the country think that migration to the United Kingdom is between 60 and 100,000 a year. They have no idea how dire the situation is. When more people start to wake up towards the next general election, you're going to see this rhetoric from Reform UK go further and further and further. We've still got a lot of time before the next election. These are just my thoughts. As always, your mileage may vary. Now, if you like this video and you think I'm onto something, make me aware. If you disagree, let me know. Do you think reform's too extreme? Do you think India's right on this? Or do you think Elon Musk is right where reform aren't going hard enough? I can see that we're going in the right direction. No other party, like the Tories, the Lib Dems or Labour, are credible. If you like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one later on today. Have a good day. It's all good so far. It's all good so far from my view. Thank you for your time.